Yo, what's up, and welcome to another episode of Unnamed Sports Show right here on Guerilla Cross Radio, streaming live on GorillaCross.com, the Guerilla Cross app, and Facebook Live on Guerilla Cross. I'm your host, Quan59, and we have a big show for you today. Steve's volume's all the way up.
It's up.
He's the one, ever since he said, I'll never have my volume up. That's all he said. Steve Hollywood, Josh Huff in the building.
Josh, oh, wow.
Well, I mean, you were on his time schedule today.
Hey, man, sometimes that bed gets you. You get up under them covers, man, you get on that pillow. And
listen, this is Vegas. We all work crazy hours out here. No one
Did you
works
say get
normal
under
hours.
the pillow?
Sometimes I get under that pillow.
How big is that pillow, Steve?
You know, my wife got one of those body pillows that, like, it's for pregnant women that, like, wrap around.
So you wrap yourself around a pregnant woman's body pillow?
Sometimes.
Wow.
Hey, you should try it.
Probably won't. Probably won't be doing that anytime soon. Dave, have you wrapped yourself around a pregnant woman's body pillow before?
I have never been in the vicinity of a pregnant woman's body pillow before.
Oh.
You should try it sometime. Steve, can he borrow your body pillow?
You can get one at Bed Bath & Beyond.
I don't want to I don't want to borrow anybody's pillows.
You're nervous today, Dave.
Yeah,
You got an audience.
Yeah. Keep that low.
So, listen, we have a lot to talk about today. A lot in the NBA, a lot in the NFL. Injuries are happening. It's that time of the season. Dez Bryant, he never played a game for the Saints. He's out. So we're going to be talking about that as well.
Grand opening, grand closing.
Yeah. The Vegas Golden Knights are struggling a lot, especially on the road. So we're going to talk about that also. So, yeah, we have a lot to talk about. Steve's sad. Steve is very sad.
Yeah.
Thanos got your man today, Steve.
He did.
How do you feel?
Bro, that dude, Stan Lee, was such a huge part of my childhood. Like, a lot of people say that when people die, but like, you have no idea how much I used to like read comics and think I was the actual Incredible Hulk. Like, I went through my aunt's screen door.
The Incredible Hulk takes on Asia.
Like, stupid. I broke my aunt's screen door thinking I was the Incredible Hulk, and I got a whooping. Like, I got tore up for that. Like,
well,
it was
that's
real.
property
Like,
destruction.
You know what I mean? Like, it was real for me. Like, I
Surprised.
man,
Hey, man,
like,
it was hard out there for the Hulk, too.
It was.
So,
Did you pick your aunt up after that happened and like carry her away?
Nah, she probably lifted me off the ground at some point.
Did you get the sad music like the old TV show while you were getting whooped?
There was
they
no-
put it on in the background?
Maybe after when I was in the corner, like, you know, recovering.
You're just like, you're just walking down the road hitchhiking, man. I didn't deserve that. I'm the Hulk.
That's funny.
Hey.
Josh couldn't be here today because he thought that it was at 2 o'clock on Mondays. I'm
Which
not
it
sure
never
who
is.
gave him that information. I think he's the
He
one
gives
trying.
himself
He's
that.
trying to force it to 2 o'clock.
It's like Inception, man. He's trying to put it in there like we all think that it's 2 o'clock.
Yeah, but it's not. But we're here. We're here live. So if you guys are watching on Facebook Live, please share the Facebook Live feed. And yeah, we're here.
Huh.
So, and I'm hearing with this Stan Lee thing, you know, they got a lot of cameos already recorded. Obviously, they've already filmed some of the upcoming films. Would you want to see him in CGI form in any of these movies if they don't have enough footage for Stan Lee to be in there? Are they going to keep this alive forever in some way?
I hope not. It seems wrong.
Yeah, I'm like,
I mean, unless he signs something that's like, hey, put me in every movie forever.
Yeah.
And then it's like, if that's what he wanted, I don't have a problem with it.
See, and I feel like they should, like, the next one that he's in, the next Avengers movie, because it's all of them. I feel like they should give him, like, a really dope farewell and just end it like that.
yeah, I'm for either just kind of letting it go, like almost as if it didn't happen, just not doing it in the movie anymore, or
You got to do something
giving him
big.
a farewell. Yeah, because
I feel like you
I
gotta
mean,
do something
obviously, yeah, he created the whole universe. I always thought, like, you know, if he passes before Thanos snap, then he could be like one of the people going in the snap, you know. But and then I guess maybe it's still not too late for him to kind of end that way. But
Steve
I don't know,
spoilers.
like, yeah, like I don't know, like he's such a
We're gonna tie that hat down, Steve.
yeah he like he's such a great like person. He created this whole. He's responsible for the creation of this whole universe. Like,
If you ever
so that's,
broke
like,
Steve's
amazing.
left arm, he wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to talk.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't. You ever been to Italy? Yeah.
What?
They all talk with their hands,
Have you been there?
both hands. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I was literally the tallest person in the country while I was there. That is a country of small people.
Andrea Bargnani wasn't in country then.
Probably not.
Listen,
Yeah.
Italians are short like that. What are you talking about?
Bro,
You're thinking about Asia.
No, I'm thinking about Italy. Like, I'm dead serious. Wherever we went, if there was a crowd of people, I could see over the entire crowd. Like American Italians, maybe not. Italians,
Where do you
those
think
are
they
some small
come from,
people.
Steve?
Like, look, they come over here and start eating. You know, our
Wow.
food is known to make people grow. Like, but over there,
HGH.
the diet's a little different, and they are not that tall.
Not every Italian American is tall either, Steve.
I'm well aware. I'm just saying.
Oh man, where's the show going today?
Stan took the show with him.
And shout out to Todd. He was supposed to come too. It's supposed to be their birthday show, and they
Yeah.
didn't show.
Was Todd actually going to show up?
No.
That's not
I
common.
like how he comments at like 3:00. I'm not going to make it, guys. It's like, Todd,
But then comments throughout the whole show.
yeah,
Yeah.
we don't expect you to be here ever. And I'm glad he invited me to the worst Monday Night Football game of the whole season.
He really wants you to watch that with him. He's brought that up all week.
I mean, listen, it's our two favorite teams, so I understand that. But
Yeah, but I would not want to watch a second of that game. By the way, just a stat for you. Combined, those two teams have less wins than the Bills.
how many wins you guys got? 4?
3.
No.
3.
Yeah, they do.
How many-
Got one.
It's
got
not less
got
than.
one yesterday.
It's
oh,
not
sorry,
less than.
equal to.
Equal, come
to.
on.
I forgot the
Don't
49ers have 2
disrespect.
wins. They have 2 wins and 2 losses to the Cardinals.
Yeah, don't disrespect. All right. Yesterday in the NFL, Cowboys won a game on primetime. Guess what? They were on primetime, Dave.
You guess what? I did not watch a second of
That
Cowboys
game.
in primetime.
What'd
no
you
interest.
watch?
Anything else? Actually, I've been knee deep in the that basketball love story documentary.
Oh, yeah. How many have you watched?
I'm like in the 6th one now, and I started
Okay.
like 2 days ago. So
Nice.
I've been watching a lot.
See, I don't even go in order.
Oh, I'm weird about that. I shouldn't go in order, and I shouldn't watch every single one.
Because there's no order, really. They just put them up.
Yeah, it's not like they tie together.
Yeah.
Like really, other than like the narrators like being the same ones.
Yeah. I feel that. All right. Sorry,
I love how
we're-
Josh is commenting in the thing, but can't be bothered to show up in the show.
Josh, at least call in.
Yeah,
We even have your Wizards on because we thought you were coming.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you could sit here and not pay attention to us and just watch the TV.
He
Be
would-
like, oh, I hate basketball. Oh, see, look at that, Steve. Look,
I love how he says he hates basketball, but I'm on his Instagram for his business page, and he's like, another exciting season in the NBA. I'm like, this hypocrite,
I read
this
this too.
liar.
I thought the exact
Check
same
out these
thing. I was like,
amazing dunks. We're in for an amazing season.
yeah.
that's a real
Then
business
he comes in
right
here
there.
like, hate basketball. Basketball's not the same anymore. These guys don't know how to play.
I've watched
Everybody in the
6
league
games
is
all
terrible.
year.
I've watched no game all the way through.
Oh,
All right,
God.
going back to the
So
NFL
funny.
before we jump into the NBA and have an all NBA show, which I want to do. It's business. What's up? Goose Thomas in the building from Let the Ball Bounce. Check them out every Tuesday, 6 p.m., every Saturday at 2 p.m. They've been having some good shows here on Guerilla Cross Radio. We're happy to have them on the network. NFL, man, any surprises yesterday besides the Buffalo Bills and Matt Barkley? Dave, what's up with Matt Barkley?
Well, anybody but Peterman, man. It just shows you.
Anybody but Peter.
Anybody. I mean, literally somebody off the street, like a vagrant off the corner of the street. Suit him up. Nathan Peterman is the worst quarterback in the history of the NFL, hands down, without question.
I told people I would take Johnny Manziel over Peterman
So would I.
any day.
I might consider Jamarcus Russell.
I would
Wow.
take.
Although I'd make sure he watched the tape.
Yeah,
I'd make sure he watched the tape.
he wouldn't be watching the tape.
Oh my Lord, that was a great story.
I would be watching.
That was the best. That was the best.
Did you see that? The coaches were convinced that Jamarcus was not watching game tape, which I mean should have been clear to anybody that ever watched him play. All he watched was like the
Food Network.
Yeah, he
Food
watched the
Network.
Food Network and food going into his mouth. But so they sent him home with blank tapes, and they asked him the next day, "Hey, what were you watching last night?" "Oh, I was watching about blitz packages."
Yes.
It's like, let's watch those blitz package tape.
That's horrible.
Hey, you're one of your favorite teams. That's on them.
Wow.
No, not this year.
It's
Not till they come to
terrible.
Vegas.
Well, I never know
There's
when they're one of your
stipulations.
favorite teams.
There's stipulations to my favorite team, to my second favorite team. Niners are always my favorite team. The Raiders, whew, they're blowing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
They are.
The best was Jordy Nelson's like, "Hey, you're our number one option now. I retire. No, thank you. Getting a paycheck to play football is fun and all, but I retire."
it's not that fun.
Yeah.
Think about how bad these organizations are. Where on the Bills, a guy quit in the middle of the game. Halftime,
He
was
quit
like,
football.
He was like, you know what? This ain't the career for me anymore.
He dreamed his dreamt his whole life of playing in the NFL. Did everything that it took to get there. Actually, I think made a Pro Bowl too. And like one half with the Bills is like, you know what? I'm good. Let's call it a career.
Wow.
He's like, man, I'm ready to
And
clock.
still somehow they have 3 wins.
Wow.
So Jordy
Terrible.
Nelson retired. They've traded their good players. They cut one of their other good players. What's going on? Are they just trying to blow it up? I mean, Gruden's on a 10-year contract, so Vegas wanted an expansion team, right? They're like,
Well,
we don't
we're
want the
getting
Raiders. We want an expansion team. So we're getting the best of both worlds. We're getting the Raiders and an expansion team because that's how good they're going to be by the time they get here.
I know I've said this before, but do you think that they're like stealth making it so that people of Oakland like hate the team so they don't have to hear about it from the citizens of Oakland who love the team and have always loved the team? And you also don't have to hear about from the LA people who want one of the teams there to be the Raiders. Like now and everybody's like, nah, Las Vegas can have the Raiders. We don't want them.
I think about that, but the other hand, I just think that Gruden is Gruden. Like I've said for years, like that this dude is not that good, and everybody gives him credit, like he's like top 5 coach of all time or something.
Oh,
I don't think
And,
anybody does that.
Dude, like that's the way he's talked about to me. Like, oh, he's such a great quarterback coach. He's such that. He's gonna turn the Raiders around. I mean, he literally turned them around because they were going forward last year.
Well, not last year, but
Well, year before, whatever. Like, yeah,
yeah, they were
just-
12-4 2 years ago.
although
Yeah.
1-8
that
now.
year.
even though
Yeah.
they're terrible this year and he's had a bad year too, crazy stat going into yesterday, this the second in the league in completion percentage was Derek Carr behind Drew
Wow.
Brees. He's
Wow.
completing over 70% of his pass, but all of his incompletions are going the wrong direction.
Pretty bad,
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean,
Wow.
they got rid of all their defense, so there's not much you could do on that end either.
Well, they weren't even a good defense with Khalil Mack, so I mean, you
Yeah.
subtract him, and that tells you about what's going to happen.
Yep.
Wow.
And they lost to the Chargers. They only scored 6 points, so they're not doing anything. I'm not sure. There was somebody that left the locker room yesterday and said some of the reporters like, "Give me the F out of here. I need to get the F out of here." They didn't say who it was. I wish they would have. But I think they're
It
just
really
leaving
could
up
have been
to-
anyone.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
It could have been all of them, so they just couldn't throw a name on it.
throw a
Except
rock
for,
and hit a
except
player.
for
That's
Gruden
who
with
it
his
was.
$10 million a year, you could literally put any player or other member of the coaching
Well,
staff.
I think Carr too wouldn't say that with his money because he got paid too and
Yeah,
hasn't
no, he
played
did
since
get
he got paid.
Oh gosh,
So
dude.
he hasn't done much since then.
No one else would be looking to pay him that.
He's
And that's why he's kind of untradeable. I'm not sure what the guarantee is on his contract, but I know for a quarterback, they usually have a high amount of guaranteed money.
Well, but it's all high up front. So I mean, after a couple years, but I'm not sure who's looking for Derek Carr. He hasn't progressed. A couple years ago was by far his best year.
Yeah.
And he's going the wrong direction now. And they've paid for some good offensive linemen for him over the years. It's not working out.
Yep.
all that money. He couldn't get one touchdown yesterday.
You could say
Who's
that
he
about a
throwing
lot of
to?
people, a lot of
Yeah.
wins.
He could throw to himself. I mean,
Come
I
on.
don't know, man. If I'm cutting that check, bruh.
If you already got paid, you already got paid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
They don't
anymore.
get to take
Yeah.
it back from you.
I know. Well, I mean, on his behalf, I mean, he can go sit on the couch. But if I'm the Raiders, I'm like, bro, like, look, they have not paid people before. He wouldn't be the first person who didn't get the money he signed to get
Well, that's true.
for his performance. So
Yeah.
everybody on that team looks bad. Like I don't care
Mark
what
Davis
numbers
is
say.
taking the
Terrible.
blame for the Raiders and how they're playing and how they're being built.
It's probably from his haircut.
His
Good
haircut's
Lord.
horrible.
You-
Probably
you're,
the worst
you're an
haircut.
you're an NFL team owner. It's not even like a bowl cut. It's like a bowl cut, but it's so far back. It's like up here with a bowl cut,
gosh, dude,
but it's
like-
long in the back somehow. It's like Friar Tuck, but filled in at the top.
Is it one of those things when you look
weird?
that weird anyways, might as well just keep looking weird?
Yeah, you think he's just steering into it?
I guess.
Since by the end his dad looked like the Crypt Keeper. I mean, hey, why not?
It's like the carrot top effect.
just really
Like, hey, I look crazy anyways. Might as well get Botox all over my face and take steroids.
and never do leg
and work
day.
out all the
And
time. Yeah,
never do legs.
yeah. I saw him in the gym many times. He definitely was not pushing a leg sled.
Man,
My wife informed me it is a page boy haircut.
page boy.
Which-
Definitely.
Oh my lord!
Wow.
Thank you for that.
Browns won a game after they fired their great coach.
What a
Everybody
shock.
was mad that he got fired, and then and he was throwing everybody under the bus last week too.
Oh
On
man,
all these networks.
there is like those bridges are not just burned. He put explosives on the bridges, and yeah, not that any team was looking to hire Hugh Jackson, but good lord, he was like,
I mean, he doesn't sound like he wants to be hired as any kind of coach.
no,
for
he
any
sounds
team.
like he wants a TV job, which is definitely coming his way after just.
I mean,
he
he
took a
did the whole
flamethrower to
ESPN and
everyone.
Fox tour. So, man,
It's like I don't. He's like, this is why this happened. I wanted to do this. It's like you're the,
Wow.
so basically
now you
everything
wanted
that
to
went
do that.
wrong,
Yeah.
you wanted to do the opposite, but you were the head coach. Remember, you're the same guy telling everybody when you sit in this chair, his chair must not have been working,
Hey,
facing the wrong direction.
You wanted to draft these quarterbacks that are all of a sudden good now, but you didn't say anything during the draft. Amazing.
yeah. Well, I don't know, man. How you stick with a loser for however many seasons?
Well, that's the thing. If
And
you don't,
What do you expect? I don't know. Like,
you go 0-16 in a season, and you want to blame everyone else. Like, you got to take some of the blame for yourself. You know, I don't get it.
and then you go 1-15.
Yeah, 1-15 into 0-16,
1-16.
and then you're still not doing that great this year. But I mean, people are treating it like you are. It's just like, well, some of it is when you have like the number one pick for several years and you keep drafting high in every round.
Yeah.
Eventually, you have to hit on some of those picks, and some of those guys are like Myles Garrett, who's fantastic. He'd be fantastic on any team.
Yeah, no team in any sport should just suck forever. I mean, the worse you are, the better picks you get. So after so many years, you should be good. So if I don't know, when's the last time the Browns were good? If you go that long without being good, at some point you just got to fire everybody.
And evidently, Josh just informed us that he got rehired back to a job in Cincinnati with the guy who really can't get fired, Marvin Lewis.
Wow.
Marvin Lewis has naked pictures of the owner. I'm convinced. He's got
Hey.
something.
You do what it takes, man.
Hey,
It's a cold business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marvin Lewis has won like one playoff game in well over a decade of coaching the same team with some really bad years in there. And I guess it's because they're the Bengals and they don't like to pay money. They're like, we'll stick it out. He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
Hey,
Wow.
be friends with your boss, I guess. I don't know. Invite him over.
Or get that dirt.
Or both. Who knows?
All right. Other
Poor
news
guy.
in the NFL. Rams won. They played a tough game against the Seattle Seahawks, which Seattle's playing a lot better than I think any of us thought they would be at this time of the season. But they lost Cooper Kupp for the season with the torn ACL.
Yeah.
And I saw that play right when it happened, and I knew it was because he had been having problems with that knee anyways. So he probably should have not been playing for that to even happen. Do you blame him for, staying in even though he's hurt? Or do you blame, the coaching staff and the training staff for letting him play knowing he has a tender knee?
That's hard because, I mean, these guys are taught forever to to play through pain, and the coaches want to win, and he's definitely one of their better. I mean, they have a lot of talent at receiver, but he's definitely one of their better receivers, at least their best possession receiver.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know that you can blame anyone. Football people get injured. It's just sucks, but it's just the truth.
Yeah.
In events like that, I will always blame the organization, just because that's just the way football is. If they even say, like, are you hurt or are you injured? And clearly he was not injured, but he was hurt. And he shouldn't be playing hurt. And playing hurt is what will get you injured, especially when you start talking about your joints, the knee, the ACL being in particular. So it's all about, we got to win this game coming up, this week coming up. And they do everything to win that game. And now what's it going to cost them that his ACL is out? Every player is going to want to play, because any game you don't play looks bad on you for whatever reason you don't play.
Not always. We look at going to New England. Gronkowski will sit out games every year. Like he sits out 5 games a year at least. Sometimes he sits out a whole season. So you see players like him who, like, when he's hurt, he's going to sit out. I think you have to be smarter and know, if you just got hurt a week ago and it's still messed up, like, you need to be smarter, and your training staff needs to be smarter to be like, look, this injury's not cool. Let's sit out a couple weeks, because they do have the playoffs. Listen, Rams are going to win the division easily, and they'll probably win the conference easily.
Ooh, but wouldn't go that far.
But when you look at the Patriots,
what are they right now?
Well,
they're 8-1,
along with New Orleans.
Well, yeah, New Orleans, which beat the Rams. But is New Orleans 8-1? I thought they had 2 losses.
No, New Orleans lost that crazy game, like, right off the bat against Tampa, week 1. They haven't lost since.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they rolled up the Bengals yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they handled, the Rams the week before.
Don't
but just the fact, like, they're going to the playoffs. They're already a lock. So you need these players for the playoffs.
And that's
why I feel like you need to sit out. If you're hurt it's the middle of the season. We need you for the end of the season.
I agree with that. And that's my point. Why didn't somebody in the training or in the locker room who knew his knee was not 100% say, hey, you need to sit out. You need to chill out. This knee is not 100%.
Yeah.
And the Patriots organization, they have a completely different organization than most football teams. A player like Gronk, who's also a huge player on that team, if he's hurt and he says he's hurt, they have that next man up mentality. He can sit down. There's other people Brady can throw to.
Well, so do the Rams.
But they haven't had this relationship. They haven't had this organization built this way as long as the Patriots have. You're looking at the Patriots 15, 16, 18 years. How long has he been the coach?
Belichick?
Since 2000?
Since the 90s.
Since the 90s. So you're talking about one man running this team and winning year after year. They have a system in place where when a person is hurt and it's like, look, you can't perform 100%, you can sit out. When is the last, like, time on the Patriots something like this or an injury like this has happened? It doesn't happen often. Usually, if a player is injured, it's not.
I don't know. They have players that get hurt for the season every year.
It happens for them all the time, but they just somehow find a guy who fills in.
Yeah, but it's usually not a player that's playing that was already playing hurt.
By the way,
the middle of the season.
One thing that's not. I mean, listen, you can't diminish what they've accomplished, but one thing that's not talked about near enough is their division is the Jets, the Bills, and the Dolphins. So it's not like they're really going through a hard stretch every year to get that playoff berth. You've got probably six division wins, or if you're unlucky, you're 5-1 in division every year. So you start with 5 wins.
And so a hurt player can sit out and it not hurt the team as bad as if a Cooper Kupp sits out, and it can really hurt, being that, yeah, there are other people for Goff to throw to, but that's a huge part of their game.
Yeah, but it hurts worse losing him for the season with the ACL.
Of course. So,
yeah, but
that's why he should be sitting out.
But it's like, I saw Goose sit out there. It's like, if everybody sat when they were hurt in the NFL, you couldn't play games.
Yeah.
He's right. There's no possible way you can.
That's the catch-22 of football. And
look at Aaron Rodgers.
How
the
hurt
brace
is too hurt to play.
I mean, and that's why owners don't give guaranteed contracts.
So, I mean, hey, You get in a car accident every Sunday, every Thursday, or every Sunday or Thursday.
Ugh.
Car accident, sometimes Monday, and you got to show up next week and get into another car accident, and nobody's going to be 100%. So where do you draw? At some point, though, we can look now, and Monday afternoon quarterback the situation and say, yeah, Cooper Kupp should have been sitting out yesterday. But I also think that there are certain injuries or certain things that, especially like your knee, which ACL is, everybody knows that's a year that he's going to be out. So, I mean, certain injuries or certain things like that, you just can't, to beat the Seahawks. So if they lose that game yesterday, what happens? Like literally, like does that ruin things for the Rams season? No. So I think that him sitting out yesterday probably keeps him barring like just some random injury next week or in 2 weeks or whatever.
But with a knee, with an Achilles, with the ACL, you just never know, because if it's tender, it's tender. You don't, you can make one wrong move and something's going to tear.
But I think him sitting out yesterday would have obviously given him a better chance at staying healthy for the rest of the season. And even if the Rams lost yesterday, it wouldn't have mattered as far as the season on the whole.
And moving on to another injury, we saw everybody was hyped up. The Saints signed Dez Bryant. And Dez Bryant, I think it was his first practice, tears his ACL. He'll never play again. He's too old to tear ACL and come back from that, especially when he wasn't on the team anyways. But is that a big deal for the Saints? I mean, they were winning without him anyways. I think it's a bigger deal for Dez Bryant. What do you guys think about that? And just the hype around that, for that to happen. I mean, I'm sad for Dez Bryant. I like him as a player. I think he's gotten a bad rap a lot. But what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, it sucks for him. I mean, he clearly wanted to play this year, but it didn't seem to bother the Saints. I don't really see too many problems there.
Yeah, I think his career is definitely over, but that's the nature of football. Just exactly what we're talking about is you come in this game healthy. I mean, if you can make it through college football and still be healthy and playing the NFL, your career could be over on any Sunday.
Well, you also look at a player like Dez Bryant, who, at the beginning of the season, I think he said he was going to wait, halfway through the season before he signed with anybody anyways. But with him doing that, what was he doing to keep his body up? Because he's an older guy now, and I know I faced this when I got older, into my 30s, and I used to never have to stretch playing basketball. I used to never have to do anything. Like, I would just go and play, until I hit 32 or 33. Then all of a sudden, like, my back started going out for no reason. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here,
Yeah.
So mentally, I just didn't know or think I had to do that because I never had to. So with Dez Bryant, and obviously I'm playing, like, at the park.
Right.
Or at the YMCA. But for Dez Bryant, who's a professional football player, he's used to, the regimen every year. He's always been in training camp, for years. What was he doing to keep himself in game shape? And would that have mattered anyways?
I don't think it necessarily matters. You play if the average, I think, lifespan of the average player is like 3 or 4 years, then you have certain positions like quarterback, running back, wide receiver. They last a little bit longer. Sometimes, like the wide receiver, the kicker, these guys will be around 15, years sometimes. So when you look at somebody who's been in the league for a while and they start playing when they were 22, 24, and they're now 32, 34, it's literally day to day. I mean, I think any player to play in the league for 10 years or more is lucky to not have any major injuries.
Yeah.
You're going to have your freak of natures like Terrell Owens, who, I don't know, could probably play today still. And he got, because he got the horse collar tackle, they now have the rule about the horse collar tackle. He tore his ankle up in that, right? And then he goes and have a surgery. 6 weeks later, he's playing in the playoffs.
Which was insane.
And which is insane to have basically the surgery with pins and rods and all kind of metal put in his ankle, and he's out there playing. We see that and we think, oh yeah, these guys can come back from anything, but I think T.O. is just a freak of nature. When you look at like a Dez Bryant, who is more of kind of the average, not as playing skill wise, but just health wise, I think is more of an average person. You're going to get injured. You're going to get hurt at this age. Coming back from it is just.
I don't even know if he'll try to come back from it.
And that's the thing is, you look at with Achilles injury, he's he was already having problems there at the end with Dallas getting separation and getting open. So now you're adding a torn Achilles to that. I mean, he was never the fastest guy on the field, but he was a smart route runner, and he was explosive in the right spots. But now you're taking that away. So I'm not sure how he gets separation at this point.
Yeah. If you want to call in and give us your thoughts, hit us up 702-608-3259. Once again, that phone number is 702-608-3259. If you're a part of the show and you're watching and chiming in and you're not calling in, go ahead and give us a call, Josh, before we call you.
Yeah,
because we definitely
better.
have some Washington sports to talk about.
Well, you know what? I think if Josh doesn't call in himself, Steve's going to call Josh with some advice.
Uh-oh.
So take with that what you will, Josh.
And Washington got the victory yesterday in Tampa Bay, so I know he's excited about that. The Bills, Dave, what's going on in Buffalo, man?
I have no idea, man.
41-10 in New York or in New Jersey.
Well, the Jets are bad. I never liked Darnold in the first place. That first game threw people off of Darnold. Darnold couldn't keep the ball away from the other team in college. I don't know why all of a sudden people thought in the pros. Yeah. Plus, how do you even find a helmet to fit that guy's gigantic head?
It's hard, Dave. It's difficult.
His head looks like Peter Griffin.
Wow.
Wow.
It's just true. I mean, Sam Darnold is not that good. I think this particular class is just going to be proven to just not be that good.
I remember we were watching, I think it was the first game of the season. His first pass was like a pick six.
Yeah.
And we were like, there we go.
Yeah, I remember watching it.
But then he ended up going back and
I was watching it with
my
my friend Chris, and it's like, well, that's what you can expect from Sam Darnold. But then he had a really good game.
Yeah,
it's like,
right.
Okay. But then after that, it's like
he's done nothing.
It was back to what we thought.
If you look at their stats, like Darnold and Allen and Rosen and Baker might have improved a little bit yesterday, but they were all basically right at or near the bottom as far as QB efficiency.
Yeah.
So, and granted, part of that's being a rookie, but I didn't like any of the QBs in this class. Not one. I thought Rosen would be the best one, but I mean,
I still like
that's
Josh
not saying
Allen.
much.
I think Josh Allen will be good.
I do not think Josh Allen will be good.
But your boys won 41-10. They got rid of Peterman. Well, he's still on the team, right?
He's still there.
Gosh. Cut that man. Can somebody seriously cut that man? Why? I think now they're just keeping him as a joke. Like they know it gives them attention.
Oh yeah, and by the
that's
way,
the only time we get tweeted.
I don't think Darnold played yesterday. It was McCown, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. I didn't even want to watch any of that game or any highlights, but I just saw Matt Barkley actually played well, which he won't. Here's the thing. Sometimes you bring in a new quarterback. No one practiced for him. No one even looked at the scouting report for Matt Barkley since he was at USC. So for him to be able to come in and have a good game, just like you said, Darnold had a good game his first game. Baker Mayfield had a good game because people just aren't prepared. So the next week you prepare for that quarterback, and it's a lot easier to, show who he really is as a defense.
I mean, it helps. Yeah. I mean, you look for tape on people, but I mean, part of it is just he played so much better than anybody that's played quarterback for them this season. I mean, I know I should count the Allen's performance against Minnesota, but Minnesota was clearly looking ahead to the Rams and did not prepare for the Bills at all. That's all that was. The second half, they shut him down.
That happens a lot. All right, tonight's game, 49ers versus the New York Giants. Dave, I know you don't like picking games like this.
Yes.
But who you got?
Well, I'm setting my over-under tonight at 30 seconds of game time watched. Let me tell you all, take the under. Take the under. Unless it gets put on a screen here to where I have no choice but to have my eye on it.
Yeah, and it will.
My eye will never be on it by choice.
It depends on how good this Philly-Miami game is. But
well, I'm just going to have a hard time because the Miami's uniforms and court are beautiful.
Yeah, you were pretty lustful about Miami's.
Their uniforms are amazing.
in that court, that should be their like real logo.
Yeah, that should be what they're doing all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah. We're talking about Miami Heat's city uniforms and court. The Miami Vice. Yeah, the black ones, I mean, the white ones last year were pretty dope. But the black ones set it off.
These are another level.
I think the black with the blue and the reddish color.
That's pink.
Pink.
Why can't you say pink?
Because pink is definitely reddish, right? It's the
But, I mean,
sister of red.
It could have been easier to
It's
just
the
say pink.
sister of red. Because it's like a neon pink, so it's reddish.
No. Cam Reddish? Duke Blue Devils?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, we'll talk about Duke in a minute, too.
Good Lord.
Gosh. All right, so I got the 49ers in a blowout, 17-6.
I'd enjoy that even not watching it.
And Todd, I'm sorry, man. I know you're begging me to come watch that with you. I can't do it. Just can't.
Wow.
Plus, Todd, why do you even want to watch Giants games anymore this year?
You don't want to watch Eli.
Check the score afterwards. Hope they got the loss.
Except every time I watch it with him, 49ers lose. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is I have to work.
And that's why he's inviting you. The Giants need all the help they can get.
All right, Pittsburgh dominated Carolina yesterday. I didn't see that happening. I saw them winning. I didn't see the domination. Le'Veon Bell, what's up? What's up, bro? Like you don't want any money now.
He messed up.
Wow.
You want zero money.
Well, clearly.
Wow.
This is on. It's turned
hard.
into one
It's
of
hard for me to respect people that give up $14 million. Like,
yeah,
I don't give up $100. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you could tell he was in trouble once Connor started playing so well.
Yeah.
Because that exposes him to some other teams to where they're like,
is it you or is it the system?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're like, he's putting up equal to better stats all across the board and is doing it. It's not like one game, two games. He's doing it the whole season so far. So,
and he did it. He did it game one against the Browns, and everyone was like, "Quit tripping. It's only one game." But yeah, now it's week 9. He's been doing it every week.
Hey, I'll say this. He was tired of being franchised. I promise you this. He will not be franchised this year.
Definitely not.
Mark it down.
Definitely not. But $14 million. Is he going to get $14 million guaranteed in his next contract?
No.
Nah.
No, nobody wants
That's what's
to.
hard.
Nobody is paying running backs. Nobody is paying running backs. I mean, you get these guys who are like freak level talents that are getting drafted. Those are the ones getting paid. But outside of that,
so is this all on Le'Veon, or does he have the wrong people in his ear?
Clearly, either he is just too dumb to listen to people, or he has bad representation. Because somebody should have got the moment that Connor played well, it should have been like, you need to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too much money sitting there on the table. Go show how good you are. It's like, I understood the first impulse, which was, let's watch them struggle.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
but after week 4,
then I'll get what I want.
After week 4, it's time to come back.
Well,
that's how I felt.
The play for that is they have to struggle. You have to have the Emmitt Smith situation where he sat out the first 2 games. They went 0-2. And then it was like, hey, Emmitt, how about some money?
Yeah.
Well, when you tie the Browns, that's already a struggle.
Yeah, but it's not like it was a struggle because of the offense.
Yeah.
The defense wasn't doing anything for them. And Connor has played well consistently all season. So it's like at a certain point, you should have been like, well, I'm at least showing up to get this money. It's like he literally just left money on the table. Just like, no, it's like, no, I'm good. I don't need money.
And Goose mentioned that David Johnson got $30 million guaranteed. And he said, what's he giving you all year? So, and my response to that, Goose, will be, people see even that contract guaranteed. What is he giving you? So now that might even make them even more fearful to pay a running back some guaranteed money.
And you have to remember, David Johnson was like the entire offense for them because there's nobody to throw the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, Larry Fitzgerald's out there getting stats from nothing, but they were at a point where like, well, if we don't have David Johnson, how are we gaining any yards?
Yeah.
Whereas now with Le'Veon Bell, you've seen a situation where Connor might be at least as good as him.
Listen, I think I'm almost positive Le'Veon's a better all-around player than Connor, even though Connor is putting up stats. But how do we know that? because Connor is putting up those stats.
Correct. And that's the thing is, as you've seen the season progress and his stats haven't declined, he's had a couple less stats in some of these games where Roethlisberger threw like 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's like he's not, but he still had good stats that game too. So it's like, it's just a really, really, really bad decision. And somebody should have saved him from himself. So I don't know if he's just not listening to anybody and just like taking his stand. He's dying on this hill. That's for sure.
That's the thing. I think we've all known athletes, and even I've dealt with a lot of musicians. You can say everything that's right to them, and they're still going to make their own decision.
Well,
sometimes that ego is bigger than any words their mom, their manager, their best friends can say.
You're the one that's got to live with your choices. So I mean, maybe he feels good about this.
Yeah.
I think these players should know more than even we know about how these systems work. And the way that the NFL works, where there's not a lot of guaranteed money, if even with your guaranteed money, you still might have to mop some floors to get it all. You have to understand that just because, the guy down the street or whoever on another team got paid and got guaranteed doesn't mean you're going to get your money. After he saw 2-3 weeks of the guy basically replacing him, not struggling and doing pretty good in his spot, he himself or his agent or somebody who represents him should have said, hey, bro, we need to step in before it's too late. Because like you said, Dave, he's going down his heel. And I don't want to say this this would be the end of his career, but it might be the end of his money. You know what I mean?
Someone's going to pay him. I'm just not sure he's getting that guarantee.
I think it's the end of the good money. I think what you're going to see next year is probably a quality team pick him up for not very much money.
Right.
And that's going to be that.
Now, who do you think would sign him?
New England.
That would be hilarious.
That's what everybody always thinks. But
because they do
true.
it. Yeah. And they love signing ex-Steelers. And ex-Steelers like going there when they're not happy.
Yeah.
Other big games this week. Going to college football real quick. UNLV football won a game against the best team in the conference, one of the best teams in the conference, San Diego State. On the same night that UNLV basketball was supposed to wipe Loyola Marymount, which they lose at home to Loyola Marymount, and then Rebels football somehow wins against San Diego State. It's crazy.
I amazingly have UNLV thoughts thanks to my friend Bruce cluing me in that game was on. So I was flipping to it while I was on commercials of another game. And let me tell you.
Talk about football or basketball?
Basketball.
Oh, horrible.
First off, the court is terrible. The uniforms are awful.
Listen, the court's all right to me. The uniforms are garbage.
The uniforms are awful. And the team is worse than both.
That silvery pink that they have.
It's rough.
Wow.
The uniforms are rough. The team is that is a bad basketball team.
And listen, in college basketball, you usually your first, especially UNLV, your first 3 games, they set those up for you to go on a 3-game winning streak. You win your first couple games. That's why you have some easy teams to start the season, so you can come in, win those games, and get the ball rolling, have a little momentum when you start playing the better teams. So for them to lose this at home against the team they were supposed to beat, I think they were favored by at least 14. I know they were favored big.
Yeah, they were definite double-digit favorites.
Yeah. And to not show up, it's pretty sad. And what's that say? Now Mency's in the system where these are his players. It's not that first year where he came in with 2 months to prepare. He's in there now. How long do you keep him if he can't? Because I think they underachieved last year too. They started off playing really good and then just fell off.
He's like trying to run the system to what it looks like to me from what little I watch of UNLV basketball. He's trying to run a system based on guys' athleticism that aren't great athletes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they think they're great athletes, but then you see them, it's like they're not there. And I'm not talking like some Zion Williamson level athlete, but there's a lot of good athletes in college basketball.
Well, no one's at Zion's level.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not talking about physical freaks. I'm just saying, athletic teams that really thrive in getting up and down and being able to move well in transition. This team looks lost in transition. They were certainly faster than Loyola, but I mean, they looked horribly coached.
I mean, they weren't guarding the 3 very well.
No.
And going back to last year and going back to people in people's heads, who was Patrick McCoy listening to? He wasn't listening to me and Josh, because me and Josh went to 2 of those games last year. And we knew, like, even though he's putting up some stats, this dude is not close to being ready for the NBA. Could have played college 2 more years and been a lottery pick.
Well, I doubt he was ever going to be a lottery pick. I don't know that
he's a big dude, though. I
But
mean,
see,
he has potential skills. He just has no work ethic.
But see, the problem was the thought there. I understand why people told him this, but I think the problem is he made what would have been the right move some years ago. Because now nobody's really cares if you're a 7-footer.
Yeah, unless you're knocking down 10 threes
exactly,
a game.
Unless you're highly skilled or you've shown some propensity to be able to move around and do different things or be truly gifted. But nobody's taking the 7-footer based off of being 7 feet anymore.
Exactly.
It's like you have to be a 7-footer who does something, because now against the best teams in the NBA, you don't see the floor.
Yeah,
you can't play.
And we were watching him live, and he, like I said, he had stats, but just his game and his energy was just not there. And I think a big problem with some of these people coming into college ball is they're already saying they're going to be a lottery pick in the NBA the next year. So I feel like some of these players come in with already 1 foot out the door before they even play their first game. And I think that's a major issue. And for UNLV, I think a big problem has been all these players end up going to the NBA early. Most of them, if they make the NBA, are struggling big time in the league. And then the other half don't even make it to the NBA. They're playing over. I'm not even sure where McCoy's at. I don't even think he's in the G League, but he didn't even last long in preseason. Didn't get drafted at all. You know?
No. If
there was a 3rd round, he wouldn't have got drafted.
No. It's the thing is now. Like I said, it used to be great advice. You're 7 feet. Somebody's going to take you, but not anymore.
Yep.
It's not the league for a 7-foot guy where a team's going to sit there and say, "Well, you've got potential based on your size."
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's enough guys who are right there at 7 foot who are 6'10", 6'11", where even if you're 7 foot, those 2 inches, they just don't mean what they used to mean.
Listen, you got Manute Bol's son, who's 7'2", playing for Oregon Ducks. And we saw how Manute Bol played. Manute Bol was a big, tall, lanky center, couldn't do much, could block some shots. He was playing for the Warriors. Don Nelson decided to make him shoot threes, which back then, a 7'2" guy never shot threes.
7'2". He was
7'6", my bad. So he started hitting some threes, and Bol still has room to grow. He's only a freshman, and he's 7'2". But he started knocking down some threes, and that was like an anomaly back then, seeing that. Bol, I'm not sure if you've seen him, but that dude is dribbling. I mean, this dude's 7'2".
He's got real talent.
Dribbling, going to the hole, hitting turnaround 3-point shots. I mean, that's if you're 7 foot, that's how you have to play these days. You're not going to be the post-up big man. And if you are, you have to totally dominate. But you have to be able to step out and at least shoot a 3 and make a couple.
Look at Brook Lopez now. Took him years to shoot a 3, hit 8 threes yesterday.
And still sucks.
And Brook Lopez does not suck.
Oh, gosh, he's garbage.
Just because you did not like him on the Lakers. The Lakers could have used him now. They could use any 3-point
He
shooter.
had 0. No, we need defense, and we actually got 2 defensive centers. So we'll talk about that soon in the NBA segment.
Oh, great. Can't wait.
All Lakers segment for Dave.
Oh, God.
We'll talk about OKC and their winning streak.
No, they don't have a winning streak anymore.
Well, they lost, but they had. Who did they lose to last night?
They didn't lose last night. They lost night before to Dallas.
Yeah. Last night before. Weekends are all one big day to me, Dave.
Friday, Saturday, and Sundays.
I take naps. I take naps during the weekend.
For Tunday.
And then UNLV's football team won, which was a shock and a surprise. Michigan dominated. Who they play?
Rutgers.
Yeah, they
Rutgers
dominated Rutgers.
Is bad.
Yeah, of course.
They didn't dominate Rutgers near as much as they have in the past or could. They clearly are, like I said, this is cruise control. This coming week is Indiana. That's also cruise control. The entire mission, the whole season, comes down to the week after. And
breaking news sent in from our sources, Todd Levy, we have released quarterback Nathan Peterman from the Buffalo Bills Twitter account. Let me make sure that's not photoshopped.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I can't believe that's true. I mean, it should be
See.
true.
I'm
I mean, it should have been
He
true.
earned it. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Wow.
Some guys,
it's real, Dave.
Wow.
Bills release Nathan Peterman. Yeah. That's on BuffaloBills.com.
Thanks for the breaking news, Steve.
Yeah.
Time to celebrate good
Yeah.
times.
And multiple sources on Twitter all talking
Well,
about
I
it.
mean, Buffalo Bills said it, so that's
Yeah. Well, I'm just
you can
They
keep
should've-
looking it up if you want.
They
to.
should have
I'm just
released.
saying, other
They
people
should have
said it too.
released him with an apology. Like, we have released Nathan Peterman. We're sorry. Not to Nathan Peterman.
Wait,
but to
more
everybody who had to
breaking
watch
news:
him.
Dallas Cowboys have just signed Nathan Peterman.
Oh wow.
I'm joking.
No, shut
No.
up. No.
Nobody will sign. Well, you know what? I take that back. One team might sign Nathan Peterman because there was one guy, as I brought
Browns?
up on the as I brought up on the show a couple weeks ago, who was real high on him
Don't
coming
say
out of
Gruden.
college.
Don't say
John Gruden. Derek Carr, watch your spot.
Oh man.
Wow.
Clearly, Gruden wants to lose right now. What is your better path to losing than Nathan Peterman? I will tell you the answer is nothing.
Nathan Peterman threw for 548 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions.
All right, I don't want to talk
Dude,
about
his
you
entire
could win more with Jay Peterman from Seinfeld than Nathan Peterman.
Listen, man, if you listen to Let the Ball Bounce episode this past Saturday,
Goodness.
we gave out every single Peter possible that is better than Nathan Peterman. So you got to check out that show. All right, enough of him. Enough of
Yes, enough of him. That's true.
and enough of NFL. Josh's favorite part of the show, which he'll probably log out right now, it's business. NBA action. Your Wizards are gonna lose, Josh.
He's not shocked by that.
Oh, he doesn't care. He doesn't watch.
Well, also, I mean, he has so many other teams to choose from. Just scroll through the league pass. There's got to be another team that's my team.
Oh, Jimmy Butler went to Philly? I've always liked Philly.
Yeah. He played for Chicago, my Bulls.
My Bulls. My Bulls. Oh, man. So Jimmy Butler got traded from the Minnesota Timberwolves to the Philadelphia 76ers. He's probably going to play on Wednesday, I believe. He's not playing in tonight's game against Miami. Okay, this trade, listen, I'm still confused about this because if Houston really did offer 4 first-rounders for him.
What did I tell you? You know they're super protected. Daryl Morey is not letting
They had to
those
be
first
top
rounders.
20 protected.
I'm telling you, that's exactly what was happening. It sounds good to where and I think it probably almost worked to where the owner, I think doesn't like Thibodeau and their GM that much right now. Well, their team president that much right now anyway, because he's always getting involved in the deals. I guarantee you it's one of those designed to be like, so the owner's like, why are we turning around for 4 first-round picks? What are you doing? I guarantee it. There's no way those weren't super protected. Morey is too smart to just mortgage the future completely. He's always got a plan, and I guarantee the plan is not like, hey, here's 4 first-round picks. You know, the first couple, it's like they're top 10 protected, and then one of them's unprotected.
Especially looking at the team right now, like they're not good. Like this year's pick might actually be a lottery pick, which Houston's going to get better. But at the same time, you can't struggle like that in the Western Conference and expect to just come out of it. You know, I don't care what you did last year. Chris Paul's older. James Harden travels more. They lost all their defensive players. They cut a piece of breast cancer.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's going to be official.
Let's just say all of Morey and everyone else's comments are real quick to say, like, they aren't saying like, no, this is absolutely untrue. He is definitely a part of our team. It's always kind of like, he's sick right now. He is on our roster. You know, all this little stuff that seems kind of like they're not exactly saying, oh yeah, he's gonna be a part of our team. It's always kind of like, he could probably go at any point right now. I don't think anybody's be too sad about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so when this Carmelo thing is officially over for Houston, because it's going to be, is anybody going to pick him up?
Yes.
Or is he smart enough to just retire?
No,
He's
getting paid. He already got his money.
That's my exact point. Is he's getting so much money right now.
Like, you need to sign with another team.
I think he'll go to wherever somebody will sign him and offer him more millions based on the things he did.
Oh, I
millions
don't
of
think
years
anybody's
ago,
going to do that.
but
I think
yeah,
he knows because of his contract situation this year. Now, granted, if a team wanted to offer him a few years, I think he would take it
Yeah.
right.
because I don't think Carmelo realizes that Carmelo's not good anymore. Carmelo used to be. I think we're missing the fact because of some of his decisions that Carmelo was a great player.
He was.
Yeah.
I mean, people are trying to defend him. It's like you have to remember that Carmelo doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
But the problem with all athletes, if you don't understand that as a player, you see Vince Carter still in the league after 20-something years.
But Vince Carter changed.
But Vince Carter,
Yeah.
exactly, that's what I'm saying. Vince Carter knows that he's not the same player, even though he did dunk yesterday. He knows he's not that high flyer, that athletic dude. So you have to realize, and he's cool coming off the bench.
Exactly.
You need to know your role as an athlete. Like when you get
Right.
older, like, okay, if I want to maintain playing in the league for a long time, we saw Kevin Willis play till he was like 47. You know what I'm saying? That dude was just always on a team.
Well, part of that was because you could be a good mentor. You could teach.
Yeah.
You could teach the young guys. That's what Vince Carter, who was like a terrible me first guy, has progressed. And I think actually, I mean, he's probably gonna be a Hall of Famer anyway, but has helped his Hall of Fame candidacy to some people who wouldn't have liked him because he's taken on this mentor role as he goes like later in his career and is like now a beloved guy in the league.
Yeah.
Right.
So he realized that he didn't have it like that anymore.
I'm sorry, I just saw Fultz shoot a free throw.
Yeah, it's rough.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry. I'll wait till we talk about Jimmy Butler to give my false thoughts.
Okay.
But it's I just really look at
And I think
Carmelo
your thoughts
doesn't
about
have
that or my thoughts about that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Carmelo, I don't know that he has the mentality that Vince Carter had, but we didn't know that Vince Carter had that mentality either. But
I mean, he started showing that a lot earlier than Carmelo hasn't shown any inkling of that at all. That's why I don't think he's going to be in the league past this year.
Yeah. And I think the problem for Carmelo was always that. Sorry, Steve, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But it's that every dollar mentality. This is what it leads to at the end.
And to me, he seems very selfish. It's all about me. It's what am I going to get out of this deal? Where am I going to play? I'm starting. It's got to be about me. And if it's not, then, well, give me my money and I don't really care. That's kind of the attitude that Carmelo portrays to me, which doesn't translate into a long career that can go beyond his physical capabilities like a Vince Carter, where his attitude changed to where he's on teams, not because he can just take over a game and jump over somebody if he has to, but it's what he can bring to the other people on the team. And I've yet to see Carmelo do that on any team at any point in his career.
And I think people thought it was going to be different with him going to Houston than it was in OKC last year because of his relationship with Chris Paul.
Of course.
Now, where do you think Chris Paul is in all of this? Do you think he's tried to talk to Melo and he's like, you know what? Melo's kind of whack. Like, he's kind of a jerk. He's not going to take this advice. He does think he's better than he is. Like, let's go ahead and move on. Because they're probably asking Chris Paul a little bit. Like, hey, what do you think? We're about to cut your boy. Like, is that going to affect you at all?
Well, I think Chris Paul is also like, he's kind of at the got my money point of his career, too.
Yeah.
It's not like he's stayed the healthiest of anyone. So, and I think
really
at the end of the day, Chris Paul, like a lot of other high-level players, when it comes down to it, yeah, Carmelo, we're friends. It's cool, but I want to win, and you're not helping us win.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not exactly going to throw myself in front of this move. It's like all the friends are talking about, how he's being disrespected, but we'll see how much he's being disrespected if he's out there free and seeing if the Heat and the Lakers are trying to come after him.
He might be.
And real quick, no one's ever seen Rebecca Lobo and Kelly Olynyk in the same place at the same time. Just had to say that real quick. Go ahead, Steve.
No, all these people are saying like, oh, Carmelo, his friends are basically like, oh, Carmelo's, being disrespected or whatever. But is there anybody anywhere who's going to bat for Carmelo? Like, has anybody anywhere that maybe I missed it where they stepped up and was like, no, Carmelo's a good guy and he deserves better or this and that? Like,
but he's never been a bad guy. That's the one thing we have to remember.
Villain, of course.
He does some punk things like when it comes to like on-court fights and stuff like that. But Carmelo was a really good player. Never gotten in any trouble for anything.
Very true.
You know, and was one of the top 10 players in the league for years.
10 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, there is a certain.
there
part
was
of
a
that-
point the first couple years of his career that, him and LeBron came in the same year. A lot of people were saying Carmelo might be better than LeBron.
He scored 33 points in a quarter. I remember watching that game.
He was balling.
He was a baller,
that dude,
no doubt.
Listen, he won a national championship in college easily. He didn't easily win the game, but he easily just dominated college. He's a great player.
But this is all
he's not the same player anymore,
right,
and
exactly.
that's if you don't understand that as a player, you just I don't know. You got to know when to stop or know when to change your role. Because if you don't want to change your role, just go out gracefully. Because like Dave was saying, people are at the point where they forgot how good Melo was,
right?
Because all they're seeing is the past 3 or 4 year version of Melo, and that's not fair to him to do that to himself.
No, and I think that the hardest part. Some of what makes you a great athlete is just being that stubborn.
Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yeah, thanks, thanks. But
get it right, done.
But part of what works against you in some of these situations is you have to start noticing when the fan bases are all happy to see you gone.
Right.
Like Denver got so much for you that they weren't exactly crying when you left because they knew you wanted to leave anyway. So that's one.
Yeah.
We all know the Knicks were perfectly fine with him heading out the door.
Yep.
That's two. OKC, I can tell you as a Thunder fan, everybody in town from the beginning of the season pretty much was ready to drive him to the airport. So that's 3. And Houston, we're like not even 20 games into the season.
And they're done.
Already,
and they're done.
So
maybe
you have to start paying attention to some of those things. Everybody physically declines. LeBron is not the same. LeBron's averaging 26, 7, and 7, but he's not LeBron like the same.
Right.
He's a great player still. You still would want him on your team. However, on the defensive end, he's not. He's a 0 or a negative, but he's not doing some of the same things anymore. And that's even LeBron.
Yeah.
So when you're Carmelo, you weren't as great, and you have declined much more.
Yeah. So
it's tough for people to make, and especially
and you never really played defense, so it's not like we can keep you around because you're a good defensive player.
And pretty much every star at some point, some more than others. Some like Dirk or Tim Duncan more than anybody. Every star has sacrificed money at some point.
Yeah.
Carmelo never sacrificed a cent.
Yeah.
And it just that turns a lot of people off. It turns
LeBron and Wade
off.
even sacrificed a lot of money to win.
Right.
It wasn't until like these last couple years that LeBron was ever the highest paid player on his team.
Right.
LeBron James, one of the
Ever.
absolute best players ever, wasn't the highest paid player on his team till like 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Right.
How crazy is that? Carmelo, you could never say that about.
Right.
Carmelo, he was going to be the highest player.
Hold on,
on his team.
let's all watch the TV real quick. Markelle Fultz is at the free throw line.
Oh.
Watch how. Listen, I've played with girls that have never touched a basketball before.
What?
It's a lane violation every time. You can't. You like fake a shot and then
That
shoot it.
hurt to watch.
It's seriously the worst free throw. I've never seen anything like that.
Oh
And
my God.
We've seen some horrible free throw shooting in this league. I
Time
promise.
out. Wait a minute.
I promise. I've never seen a free throw shot like that.
He shoots
in my
that like
entire
that at free throw line all the
Not
time.
every time.
No,
What?
he has so far this game.
This game. But the other day, you were starting to wonder if he still has that shoulder injury because I swear, I was watching one of their games last week and he
I don't
shot and he
understand
was
that.
like, ugh! Like it hurt.
I don't understand that
shoot.
at all. I don't
That
get
was
it.
the weirdest.
I think he has still a physical injury and definitely mentally he has been broken.
Okay, so we're about
Wow.
to jump into that real quick, though.
Wow.
He's about to get broken
real quick,
worse.
we're about to jump into the reps for Carmelo Anthony exploring possible landing spots. This is not a headline from 2 months ago. This is now. So they're his reps are really busy, always looking for a new team. Where do you think he would go? I think Miami's the only team that would make any type of sense. People have said New Jersey or Brooklyn. He could possibly go to Brooklyn just to be in New York if he just wants to chill at home.
I'd see that. I don't see Pat Riley giving him a cent.
Really?
Pat Riley is still old school in his mentality. They got a lot of good
Miami
young guys.
does need offense. I think that's been their biggest struggle.
Okay, has Carmelo proven at this
No,
point in his
not at
career
all.
that he's offense?
Not at all. Yeah, it's sad because I want to see him go out like in a good way, but it's just not going to happen. He's 34. Yeah,
He's bringing this on himself, though. I mean, it's
in a way,
Yeah.
and like my man Cream said, you can't blame the Rockets' struggles on Carmelo. It's not. I
No.
mean, he's not even playing enough minutes to, he's not the one missing all the 3-point shots. He's not the one. He's not the only one not playing defense.
yeah.
I mean, they're shooting horrible this year.
Well, and you knew some of the problems they were going to have. You knew that Carmelo wasn't going to be a fit. I mean, him and Mike D'Antoni already had problems.
And that was the biggest thing. He got D'Antoni fired from the New York Knicks.
I don't know why people thought that was just going to pass.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
That was a lot of drama. He never liked the fact that Jeremy Lin existed.
Yeah. Oh, he did not like Linsanity. He
Yeah.
was the one person in that arena that was mad at every one of those games.
He hated Asians more than Steve for that.
Oh,
That's
God.
saying something.
Oh,
That's saying a
wow.
lot.
I don't hate Asians. So whatever.
Steve, we have radio shows and evidence and video evidence to prove.
There
We
are,
don't have to go deep in the archives for it.
No,
either.
we have to go last week, the week before, the week
There
before
are
that.
people
Chong's Kung Fu Sui,
in
Chong's chop suey.
same thing.
there are individuals.
See, now he's
gosh.
rubbing off on you.
He growled.
Proximity racism.
He said, "Ah,
You got it airborne now.
look, Steve."
What? Telling me to-
That's messed up. You're just pointing out random Asian dudes shooting shots in contests to get Steve riled up.
All right, go ahead, Steve. You want to say something?
I was only defending myself, but apparently there's no defense for myself. So
Probably not.
No, there's none.
Steve, it's
You'll never win this argument.
Steve, it's actually better if you would have just let it go
Yeah.
the first time.
This-
Every time you started building your case, it's like, no,
got
Steve,
worse.
no.
It's like when you give Josh advice, it just got worse and worse and worse. It's like, no, Steve, no.
Hey.
The first advice was cool, but
I'm still right. I stand by my statement.
stop with it. It's time to stop. You're like the Carmelo of
You got to know when you're done, Steve.
you gotta know. All right, moving on to Jimmy Butler. We kind of started with that. I don't even know how we got on Carmelo, but Jimmy Butler getting traded. Did they? Oh, because we talked about the Houston offer. Do you think they got enough for him? With a lot of other people saying they offered, more. Which potential offers always kind of come out later, like, oh, we offered this. It's like, did you really?
But the one offer was out there at the time. Minnesota didn't think it was enough. And then Josh Richardson started playing out of his mind this year,
should've
and
grabbed
Josh
it when they
Richardson
could.
came off the table.
Yeah.
So I don't think you could really count that necessarily, just because nobody knew Josh Richardson was going to blow up like that.
Yeah.
But I've flip-flopped on this deal multiple
I'm surprised
times.
it was a second round pick. When I first saw it, I thought it was the first round. I'm like, okay, cool. At least they got a pick. They got some all right players, which maybe that's what Minnesota needs is some good role players.
I think that's kind of where their thoughts are. If you look at it, both of those guys can shoot.
Yeah.
And Covington's a good defender. Sarge is a tough guy who you can put next to Towns very easily. You can take some of those minutes away from Taj Gibson, who should not be playing that many minutes at this point in his career. I don't hate the deal for them. I mean, you want to get more for Butler, but the problem is Butler has sabotaged so severely his trade value.
Yeah.
If you're a team with young, impressionable guys,
Which,
you don't want him.
Well,
Which they
wait.
this exact team did.
They don't want him. And that was the first thing I looked at. This team is not much different than Minnesota. They're built a lot alike.
Right.
The one thing is Embiid is definitely a way mentally stronger guy than Towns.
yeah,
Same thing with Ben Simmons. He's more mentally strong than Wiggins.
But Fultz, however,
you got Markelle Fultz, who is not mentally strong at all. I don't see Fultz lasting the whole season with Jimmy Butler.
you got to
being
deal
there.
him now. You need to deal him now while
Have
there
to.
might still be somebody that has some value in him, because Jimmy Butler is going to ruin his life. Jimmy Butler was like this in Chicago. Jimmy Butler is like a self-made man. Jimmy Butler's talent is not fantastic, but Jimmy Butler is
He'll play harder than anybody on the court.
is a hard worker. With him and Simmons and Embiid, man, you have a foundation for a real special defense there.
Yeah.
But the flip side to that is if Simmons doesn't want to get in the gym and start learning how to shoot a little bit more, he's going to be hearing some comments from Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Embiid, I'm not worried about in the least.
Not at all.
Embiid is bulletproof at this point. Embiid is not a top level, but he's there as an MVP candidate this year.
Yeah.
He's playing fine. But Fultz is already fragile. You have to wonder if when he saw that, Jimmy Butler is probably already like, well, I'm going to have him off this team real quick.
Maybe that's why he's shooting extra tonight on the free throw line.
Maybe it's why he's trying to get some shots up, period, because who knows?
I mean, I'm interested to see. I'm happy, not just for Philly, because I like seeing Philly be good. I like seeing the Celtics do good. I like seeing teams in the East.
You like seeing the Celtics do good?
Yeah, because I like to hate them when they're good. I don't want to hate them when they're bad.
But like in limbo this year.
But the East, who looked really weak once LeBron left, are now getting, they got Kawhi after that. Now they have Jimmy Butler, so their star power is starting to stack back up a little bit more.
It is, but if you look at it, they're very top heavy in the East.
Yeah.
So you're going to have Philly now. Boston will snap
but
out
at the
of it
same
at some
time,
point.
there's a top heavy instead of one team.
Yeah.
Which is
then
good
the
to have
Bucks
at
and the
least 3 or
Raptors.
4 teams. Yeah. And the Bucks have been playing great. They lost tough. I think it was a back-to-back against the Clippers in overtime, but then came back and won last night, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the Bucks. Giannis looks great,
looking like the MVP.
I mean, I didn't think he can get that much better than he was last year, but he's dominating this year.
It's what we were saying from the start of the season. Get him a real coach with a real system and basically it's just Giannis and shooters.
Yeah.
And let Giannis just go crazy. Giannis still can't shoot. I mean, that's a fact, but one, at least he tries to shoot.
Yeah.
So unlike Ben Simmons. But two, man, that kid's special.
Yep.
Good Lord. I don't know exactly if he ever gets a jump shot, you can shut the league down.
Yeah.
I watched them play the other day. I can't even remember who they were playing. And I was honestly
Golden
like
State?
in awe. No, it wasn't that game. Because I know I missed that game because I thought it was the day after it came on.
But also they played great. But Golden State has those nights sometimes where when they don't have it, all of a sudden Steph's hurt and they packed it in. Golden State packed it in real early that game.
Yeah.
Some nights they just check out. I wouldn't worry about him if I was a Warrior fan.
Yeah, this Giannis is definitely he's a barring nothing happens to him as for injury wise or no off the court troubles. I mean, this guy, man, is probably the future of the league. LeBron's time is we can see the light at the end of the tunnel on LeBron. I mean, he doesn't have many years left.
But his time as the best player, I think, is done.
Yeah.
LeBron is
right.
not the best player
Right.
in the world right this second.
And when his spotlight leaves the game, I think Giannis could be that player that we all want to watch play.
I think there's a handful of people, though. I think that's a good thing about the NBA right now.
It's a great thing.
If Ben Simmons gets a shot, he's going to be right up there. He's still, he's in his third year, really.
But I mean, look at
Anthony Davis.
Yep.
I mean, he's right there to be the next best player in the league.
Embiid.
Kevin Durant's still not old.
KD is still great.
Yeah.
Steph. I mean,
the NBA is packed with stars, and I think that's what's making it great right now. Even though some people don't think it's great unless they post that on their business Twitter accounts.
Yeah.
But I love the NBA right now. Like, I don't like the lack of defense, but the league is obviously wanting high-scoring games, so that's what we're getting right now. So I do want to see more defense from teams, but that will change a little bit also once we get closer into the playoffs. You'll see these teams have to play harder defense. You'll see the scores go down a little bit. But I do want to see we talk about boxing out, just the fundamentals of defense that we're not seeing a lot of that we need to start seeing.
And I think some of it is just the offense. Well, the rules very much favor the offense right now, which
I love the 14-second shot clock on offensive
that's
rebound.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's a little things like that really all favor the offense, favor fast movement, favor a lot of possessions. So you're seeing more possessions than you used to see. Plus now defense in itself has changed because there's really no opportunity to bang around. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of running. You got to, I mean, if you look at the miles, I mean, unless you're John Wall, that these players put out there when they're playing, just for how much they have to close out on shooters. Hey, look at the stats. Yes. No one moves less on the floor without the ball than John Wall.
You've never seen him at a buffet. He's got miles at that buffet.
Well, the plate's the ball.
Hey,
Plate's
man.
the ball.
The M Resort.
Box out game is strong in the buffet.
There's only one biscuit left? That's mine.
Well, it looked like the box out game was strong at Sapphires when he was here, too.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
You know, allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. All right. More NBA news. What else you got, Steve?
In the NBA?
I mean, yeah.
What do we?
You've been researching stuff the whole show, so I hope you have something.
I'm reading about this. I was actually just reading something about Giannis. Let me see if I can pull it up again. I was looking at this their team, like the stats for their games, like who was the leader, and Giannis is like all over the board. Like his name is not leading every game and every stat, but a lot of the games and a lot of the stats he's leading in almost everything.
Yeah.
Like in points, rebounds, and assists. I mean, he's all over the board. I mean, this dude is a monster, man.
Listen,
like,
if there's anybody out there that has a favorite team that wouldn't want Giannis on their team, then you're dumb.
But don't you also get the feeling that he's not done? I still get the feeling when I see Giannis.
Yeah.
A little bit with Embiid too, but Embiid has more injury worry. But with Giannis especially, I just get that feeling.
How old is
like
Giannis?
He's like 23, 24 years old.
He's not even 25 yet.
Yeah, he's under 25 still. He's progressing every year. He keeps adding more. Like this year, he added more size. He's just. I will be fascinated to see what the ceiling is for him, because the ceiling for him could be something really crazy.
It's nuts. All right, when they played the 76ers, he had 32 points, 18 rebounds, and 10 assists against the 76ers.
Yeah.
He had another triple-double against Sacramento, 26, 15 rebounds, 11 assists. And there are other games where he didn't have a triple-double, 25 points, 18 rebounds, and 8 assists.
Isn't he still leading the league in rebounding?
Yeah. I mean, he's doing what a big man is supposed to do and more. I mean, I don't think there's another player right now that are doing it's not just numbers. Like, it's not just padding. Like, people will argue about like Russell Westbrook, who is the most hustling player in the league. But they'll argue and say, oh, you know, they just let him get that rebound or whatever.
Argument.
Like, you know, but no, that's not happening with
come
Giannis.
Talk to me.
No, of course.
Idiots.
Yeah. But with Giannis, there's no argument. Like, he is making these things happen. You know what I mean? Like, he's just, I don't see anybody stopping it. 23 year
He'll
old?
be 24 in December.
Plus, some of these dunks where it's just swooping in out of nowhere, and it's just like, who gets there from there?
Well, and
it
the
seems
thing
like
is,
half court, he's 2 steps. And
if Giannis
he's
gets a shot, like you're saying, he's still young enough to develop a shot, and he's taking them.
And I think unlike Ben
and
Simmons,
he'll hit some big shots sometimes. Like, so it'll go in. But yeah, if he gets like a good stroke, bro, it's over.
Yeah,
it's over.
He's really. I mean, I think the person that's missed out in a lot of these conversations, mainly because he gets hurt a lot and has been hurt some this year, is Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis is more polished.
Yeah.
And just bigger overall. And he added a lot of size, but he has so much skill. But he just, unfortunately, Anthony Davis can't stay fully healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't seem to have too many of the huge injuries, but he's hurt a lot, which is too bad because he's fantastic.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
Yep. Real quick, I want to go back to the Butler trade. Steve, is that a good trade for them? Did Minnesota get enough? And is this going to be good for Philly?
I feel like Minnesota got what they wanted. I don't know if it's necessarily enough, just being that I think that all of Jimmy Butler's beefs and complaints about Minnesota are true. The players that they have don't necessarily hustle. I think that the players that they have on Minnesota that don't hustle, and that's part of the problem, like we were talking about with the NCAA, like a lot of the college players now, where they come into the league they come into college with this mindset that they're already going to the league. So they don't give that 100% effort like they're earning a spot to get into the NBA. So those same players make it to the NBA, and in their minds, they've already made it.
Yeah.
They've already accomplished. And they play with that same attitude of, I'm just going to go out and get mine, and it is what it is. And so you have big men who are not boxing out. They're just trying to get points. Guys who aren't necessarily hustling and making plays when plays need to be made. They're just doing they're just doing enough to get by, basically.
Okay, and I agree with you on some of that with Towns, but some of it with Towns is because he can go he's the most talented player there,
right.
And he goes so many trips down the floor without touching the ball.
So the problem is not just Towns, but it's part of it is also just the culture of that team. That's allowed to happen. The coach is not telling these players enough, look, we got to get Towns the ball. Like he should be the star, the man on that team. He should be the Giannis of that team, and he's not.
You got to go for it. You got to tell your teammates you want the ball. You got to ask for the ball. You got to demand the ball,
and that's a mentality issue where he's.
That's why I think Tyus Jones is their best point guard
by far.
Because Derrick Rose is a good sixth man for them now. Jeff Teague is a shoot first point guard. So you had Teague and Butler who are both they're both getting shots up. So that's two guys who are going to take a bunch of shots that aren't going to Towns, and it's just like you need to feed him. I mean, it's just historically big men need the ball or they start checking out. So I don't fully blame him, but at the same time, he has not been aggressive enough and like get me the ball. I am the best player on the floor. There is no question about this, and just clearing people out.
And I think that for the 76ers, getting Butler, I think in a way they improve. But I think the chemistry will matter the most. He'll get them some hustle plays, but will he break up some of that mentality that I think that Simmons, he definitely needs to get a shot together. Will Butler's pressure cause him to encourage him to get that shot together, or cause him to fold up and just?
No, if he already doesn't care about his shot, he'll still not care.
Right. You know what I mean? So will it just cause a conflict there? And can they keep their women away from Jimmy Butler?
I don't think Embiid or Simmons can be affected in a negative way by Butler. I think, like Dave said earlier, Fultz is the one that will be, and I think he's the only one on the team that actually can be. You're not going to affect JJ Redick. He's been in the league long enough, and the fact that Jimmy Butler's now playing for a contract. He's not playing to get traded. Now he's playing for a contract. His contract's up this year. So they have him for a year, and if he sucks, then you just move on. You're definitely not moving on from Embiid or Simmons.
Well, and I think the one thing that where you might see some better behavior there now that he has been traded, and it's a team with more potential, with tougher guys who play more defense, is if he messes up the chemistry here, then it's every stop. He's a bad teammate. You ain't getting that max deal that way. Philly, he wants the most money he can get. Philly is the most money.
Yeah. So
it could, all right.
It could either.
I think it'll be good for Philly. I don't think it's it was definitely worth the risk. They gave up two players that were good players, but weren't all-stars, weren't even potential all-stars. Covington was definitely a good shooter. So I think they do. There's
except
rumors.
In the playoffs.
There's rumors about them trying to go after Korver, and depending on what they have to give up. And Philly did really good last year at the trade deadline of getting shooters, to surround them. They end up losing those guys in free agency this year. But
it wasn't so much the trades; it was more waiting for buyouts. The question is,
buyouts.
How far behind Toronto will you be if you have to wait for the buyout market, and who will be on the buyout market that you want?
But if they could trade for someone like Korver, depending on what they would have to give up, I think that'd be smart for them. I think everyone's on the market for Korver right now because a lot of teams need a three-point shooter.
God, I wish Oklahoma City had something to give up for him.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows they need shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, moving on before we close out the show to Vegas Golden Knights hockey. The NHL been struggling. Dave, what's going on, man? We had a good game the other day that we should have won.
I'm still saying this. I'm still saying the same thing. I'm maintaining that they're a fringe playoff team, like sneak in at the end. They're not too far out of the playoff race. There's a lot of
I mean,
hockey
it's still
to
early.
be played.
Not even 20 games in yet.
There's a lot to still be
Close.
done, but there are some definite concerns. One of them being Fleury may have expended his last good season last year.
And I don't blame a lot of it on Fleury. I mean, he's I feel like he gave the team so much magic last year that they
Of course, I'm not mad at him.
Well, I feel like the defense got kind of spoiled with that, and their defense is just not good this year. We had Subban in goal last night. He gave up one horrible goal. Everything else, he played well last night. Besides that goal where he went way out, and he scored on him. But other than that, Subban, played well last night. But the defense is giving up most of the goals. You can't blame everything on the goalie. That's why I don't even like wins and losses for goalies, because it's like you're putting a win and a loss just on one player sometimes.
It's like a pitcher.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think last year, I mean, the way all their goalies played for them, their defense I thought was bad last year.
Yeah.
Especially once you saw their size on defense, when they started getting further into the playoffs, like when they were playing Winnipeg, I was like, good Lord, these guys are monsters. Yeah. And just our defensive players are just not big enough, and I don't think they have some good attacking talent. I don't know that there's enough good defenders there, but that's part of being an expansion team.
Yeah.
That's what people keep forgetting. It's like
we're playing like an expansion team this year.
We need to look at things a lot more like, hey, this is the second year of a franchise.
Yeah,
right.
This is not, yes, they went to the Stanley Cup Finals last year and they had a phenomenal season. But this team had holes last year. Those holes were plugged by some crazy goaltending performances in a lot of cases, and some timely scoring from some players really playing out of their mind, and in some cases above their heads.
Yeah.
They'll be okay. There's what people have to realize is even with their record now, they're still ahead of schedule.
Yeah, they're still in it. And here's the other thing too. I think all but 3 games have outshot the other team, usually by a wide margin. So we're getting the shots. They need to start converting the shots. That's a frustration. Like, you're getting so many shots. You need to start converting. The other thing is we've had so many players injured this year already. Smith's been out with that suspension. He'll be back in 3 games, which he's not the savior. I'm in some of the Vegas night groups. He's not Wayne Gretzky, guys. Like, he's not the Michael Jordan of the NHL. Like, it's definitely going to help having him back, but he's not going to fix all their problems having him back on the ice. But it will be a good addition getting him back in. We've had a lot of injuries. Stanzy's still out. He's our big free agent signing, and he only played a few games so far. So he'll be coming back at some point. There was an injury the other night to your boy Holla.
Holla.
Which looked like it could have been an ACL, but he still traveled with the team, which is telling me it probably isn't, because usually with the ACL, you go home right away and get that taken care of, have that surgery. But it is, it was a bad ankle injury. I mean, knee injury. But yeah, I mean, the record's not great, but like I said, they're in most of the games. They're outscoring or outshooting most of the teams. So you just have to start converting on those shots, playing tougher defense on a turnover. They just glide back. They don't go back hard on defense on turnovers at all. And
they didn't
a lot of the
either,
goals are off turnovers. So, passing better and yeah, Fleury, I mean, he's not young. He's not a young dude, but the defense has to help him, has to help Subban when Subban's in there. So,
yeah, they need a lot of defensive help, and that's the one area they haven't fully addressed. Well, not really at all addressed yet. So, I think that's where their potential is. Like I said, I still think they have the capability to fight for that last playoff spot. They're not. I mean, they're like a few points away from it if the playoffs started today.
Yeah,
so they have 15 points. The Avalanche would be in like the 8th spot. They have 18.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
that
you're
far
right there.
away.
You just have to go on a winning streak. And that's what kind of frustrated me this weekend, having a back-to-back. And you have the Canadians, and you're up 2-0. And they ended up losing 5-4, but it was just like one of those games you had to have. You were in control of the game, gave up some easy goals, and you end up losing a tough game. That's the game you had to win, because then you got the Bruins the next night. Bruins are really good. So that's the game that, okay, if we're going to lose one, we're going to lose that. But on a back-to-back, you have to win that first one, and they didn't. So I think they win 1-3 on this road trip.
Well, and they've had 2 road trips, so including starting the season off with a significant one. They've already had 11 road games.
Yeah, out of
versus
their
7
17
home
games.
games.
Yeah.
So it's whereas last year, part of it was
Or 18 games.
they started off hot, of course, with special motivation, and they played a ton of home games early.
Yeah.
So I mean that helped them out a lot, and that's where I think you can start seeing them start picking up some wins. Get a little.
Well, they have to win at home.
cooking.
That's where we're at right now. Like, we have to win the home games,
And they're
especially the games you need to win.
Home.
Yeah.
So they're not terrible
Yeah.
at home.
So we got the Ducks at T-Mobile Arena on Wednesday at 7:30. That game's a national game on NBCSN. So looking forward to that. And man, hockey injuries, I'm new as a regular fan of hockey now. Hockey injuries crack me up. And I wish Josh was here so we could talk about it. But there's 3 injuries in hockey:
Upper body, lower body.
upper body injury, lower body injury, or concussion.
Yep, that's it.
They don't say nothing else
It's
about
part of-
anything. Why is that, Dave?
Wow.
It's part of the collective bargaining agreement and everything. They basically
We're not giving
do
out
it.
any of the injuries at all.
They do it for like games, and shit. Like with the Patriots, where like they used to have those years where like half the lineup was questionable
Yeah.
coming in. Yeah, they don't. It's bargained in there. Their injury report is it. You don't have a specific part of the body that anybody can target.
Yeah.
It's just like upper body injury. Could be anything.
Wow.
Lower body injury could be anything. Lower body.
Could be a missing limb.
Groin, ankle.
You can get
Whatever.
decapitated and it's an upper body injury.
Yep. Because it's not a concussion.
Wow.
Not a concussion.
Wow.
He's not concussed. He's just not there anymore. Upper body injury.
Hamstring, lower body injury.
I actually think that's great. I think that if your star player has a lower body injury and the other team doesn't know what type of
Yeah.
injury, how serious it
Exactly.
is, they can't make or change a strategy based around that player, the likelihood of that player playing or not.
Yeah.
Well, not just
Right?
that, but you also prevent the goons in the sport from when
Right.
your lower body injury is like
The
it's his left knee.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Then these guys are
Wow, Dave, we finished each other's sentences.
yeah. There you go. then the Tom Wilsons of the world would be going after your left knee
Right.
because Tom Wilson is dirty.
Dirty. One of the dirtiest players I've ever seen in hockey.
I wouldn't go that far, but he's especially for modern hockey, he's incredibly dirty.
Yeah.
For old school hockey,
He'd be average in old school.
not as much.
He'd be average.
Yeah.
But now he's very dirty and a terrible person.
All right, well, we got some NBA to watch. We got 15 seconds of Monday Night Football to watch for Dave before he leaves.
Nope.
But we will be back on Thursday. Josh will be in the building taking Dave's seat, I think.
Yes, I will. You guys will not see me for a couple weeks.
Oh, Dave
Where you
quit.
going?
Dave just
No,
put in
I'm working next Monday. So you
Dave
won't
put
see
in
me
his
next Monday.
resignation.
Oh, okay.
So we will be back on Thursday, though. So make sure you tune in and follow us on all social media at Guerilla Cross and at Unnamed Sports Show. Download that Guerilla Cross app for free. We got live radio shows, sports, and hip-hop. We got a 24-hour hip-hop station that's always playing. So make sure you check that out as well. And we appreciate everyone for tuning in.
Except for Josh Williams, who should have been here. And Josh, the hate didn't come back and never left.
We're out.